Workplace safety has become one of the major priorities of organizations across the world, and that's because workplace safety or safe workplaces are productive ones. And of course, we will be looking at the constituents of safe workplaces this morning on the show. And we have with us Darlington Achua and Funke Sunday. They're both safety professionals from iBrand Group. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Good to have you on the show. So let's start by understanding what workplace safety constitutes.
Okay.
Funke.
All right. I think thank you very much, Bola. So basically, workplace safety is about having conditions or putting in place actions to ensure that work-related injuries and ill health is being prevented. Albeit, we understand that sometimes, even though you put actions together, there could be a failure. So should you still have incident at the workplace? So those actions that will ensure that the impact are minimal. Yes. So basically, workplace safety is aimed at preventing work-related injuries where possible, as well as reducing the impact of incident at the workplace. So all those actions put together to ensure that you have a good working place is what constitutes the workplace. Actions by the people, the equipment, the work environment, ensuring that all of this is safe. All these things work towards giving you a safe working environment.
Oh, okay, let me get Darlington's thoughts. Well, you know, when we talk about workplace safety, more often than not in this part of the world, most companies or employers think it's just about having the basics like fire extinguisher and what have you, just minor things. But she has said it's, a series of actions that requires, a workplace being safe and secure. What are those actions?
Okay. For an organization or a workplace to be safe, it begins from the management.
Okay.
The safety culture of that organization is something that is paramount. And then the management will have to buy into that. It starts from the top down to the shop floor workers. So when you have a management that supports safety and is safety conscious, then every other thing will be put in place. And then the shop floor workers and every other person in between will be carried along. Then we can begin to have a safe workplace.
Yes, so I'm sure there are actions to take, and there are also preventions to make.
Exactly.
Let's talk about some of these preventions. What are the things you're preventing? What are the actions to take to prevent these things?
Okay. Paramount, one of the things that organizations should do is first training.
Okay.
Workers have to be trained. Because a lot of organizations, you have people who have put fire extinguishers, they have their hydrant systems, they have put signages everywhere. But the workers are not trained. In the event of fire, what do? Where are they running to? So if these workers are not trained, if the basic workplace safety, they are not enlightened about it, then everything that the management does is more like, let's say 20-30% will work in that organization. So first, training will have to be done for the workers. They have to be enlightened. The awareness will have to be there. Then we'll begin to put out every other systems, be it structure, be it arrangement, providing fire extinguishers, marking out walkway, exit routes, and whatever put in place. Then that will begin to work for the organization.
So let's talk about hazards, Funke. I know that there are all of these issues that you've talked about. It's just about preventing hazards. So what are these hazards, especially when it relates to the workplace, and how do we prevent them?
All right, thank you very much. So when you're talking about hazard, we're just saying anything that has potential to cause injury or ill health at the workplace. Now, the most common one that our mind usually goes to is, maybe you fall, you trip. But it is not just about the safety alone. Even it covers aspects such as harassment, social aspect of the workplace, well-being, and all of these things make up that. So to prevent some of these things.
So are you saying, sorry to cut in, are you saying harassment is also a hazard?
Yes, it is an occupational health and safety issue, a big one. In fact, when you're putting up a management system, issues revolving around the social aspect of the workforce, well-being, psychology, they are also component of the environment that workers work in. So it is part and parcel of safety.
Okay.
Going beyond just getting injured, no. that aspect too. You agree with me that if anything happens to the psychological aspect of the workers, it can also
Affect productivity.
it can affect productivity, and anyone that is not having a sound mind can also be an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. So apparently for workplace safety, it's, you know, it has subdivisions, the occupational aspect of things. You talked about the mental and, you know, psychological impact among others. But we'll take it one by one. But probably we should start from the basic, the occupational hazards, just as she has said. Beyond tripping on, you know, maybe the stairs or what have you, what other occupational hazards are there to watch out for, aside probably fire outbreak? What other hazards are there to watch out for? And you talked about training. When she's done, you'll explain to us the trainings that can be, you know, carried out to avoid such hazards.
Okay.
All right, thank you. So there are several types of hazards that you can have in the workplace. Slipping and tripping is just one of. And like, you know that health and safety is everybody's business. It's not just for people in the manufacturing setting. Even people working in the office are exposed to hazards. Yes, very much. So you can have slips, you can have trips. There are electrical related hazards. Yes, even people in the office are exposed to that, because in the course of trying to connect your system or what have you, electronic gadgets, you use electricity. Yes, you can have trailing cables everywhere. You can also have those that are related to ergonomic workstation for people in the workplace. That's the design of the workplace. If it's not done in such a way that it will make work easier, it can add stress to the work. There are others like substances, chemicals too. So you have chemical hazards. Yes. Even something as simple as the cleaning agent that the cleaners use can become a hazard to them. So you can have chemical hazards. You can also have biological hazards. So people go to the sanitary convenience. If you don't clean up properly, you can carry microorganisms. When people have infections and they use these sanitary conveniences and there is no proper cleaning, people can transmit disease to one another.
So apparently, from what you're saying, what I hear is that there are different hazards that are peculiar to different kinds of jobs.
Yes, to different kinds of jobs, yes. But to people in the office, the risk level may not be high, but definitely the hazards are there. In manufacturing, in plant assembly, in oil and gas, different sector of the business, as long as it is, even in the supermarket, yeah. There are
so the trainings.
Types.
Okay.
Darlington.
Okay. There are a lot of trainings depending on the organization and what they do. But one of the basic trainings that most establishments require, basic fire safety training, so that workers should be able to know what to do in the event of fire. Another thing is, maybe, let's say, hazard identification training. Workers should be able to know what is a hazard, how do they identify hazard, and how those hazards could be controlled too. So some other trainings could be environmental awareness hazard training, so they could also know how to manage the environment, housekeeping, and the rest of them. So these are basic trainings that individuals in the company should know. Even part of ergonomics too, how sitting posture, how to lifting, how to lift materials from one place to the other, how to sit, how to interact with their work environment, display screen equipment, and the rest. These are basic trainings that could be done in the office settings, and depending on whichever organizations, then those trainings are very important to make sure that workers are
Who carries out the training? Excuse me.
Basically, we have external consultants who could do that, except the organization also have their in-house trainer who is also trained and certified to train on these aspects. Then they could also do that too. Okay,
talking about these trainings, they need to be periodic to ensure that the workplace is safe, because a one-off training won't cut it for jobs.
Exactly.
So how periodic should these trainings be for the workplace to be safe?
Well, it depends on the organization, but it should not be something that is too far. Maybe annual or biannual, once in 6 months, as more like an awareness for the workers, especially these basic ones are something that should be done periodically so that they do not forget. so they not forget. So these are things that could be done, let's say, once in 6 months or once in a year annually, that it becomes fresh in their minds. They will be able to work with it, because when you monitor the workplace and see how the workers behave, behavior-based safety, you could find out that, okay, they know, they have learned, they've been taught, but after a while they begin to forget, because maybe that is not their core aspect of work. So we need to remind them regularly what they need to do. So these trainings should be
We're
done.
still going to discuss further on the trainings, but I'm more interested in the role of the employers. I know that the employees also have a role to play when it comes to making the workplace safe, but what is the role of the employers? What are the things they should provide in terms of policy, in terms of, you know, the arrangements of the workplace? What are the things, the facilities that they should provide?
All right, thank you very much. So on the part of, like I said earlier, safety is actually everybody's business, everybody's responsibility. Yes, we normally say that having an effective management system to manage health and safety.
Okay, we'll have to get back to that. We have to take a break now.
All right.
We'll come back to talking about the role of the management, especially when it comes to keeping the workplace safe. After this break, please stay with us.